Hi, good evening. Welcome back to my ongoing restoration of my Saab 900 Turbo 1986 SPG Aero in the UK, SPG obviously in the States. Uh, Apologies that I haven't uploaded anything recently. Keep you informed, but I have been doing quite a lot. Again, we're inside, unfortunately. We had some nice weather last week and I was able to get quite a lot of welding done, but also quite a lot of damage to my hands in grinding and burning, and my fault really, using those shite rubber gloves that everybody seems to use. Gotta use leather, you gotta use leather. But anyway, that's not Zebedee from Magic Roundabout, or what's left of Zebedee. That's my driver's side or offside front spring, which I've been stripping down. It's now in epoxy primer. It's all been rust killing, and that is the major thing that's taken the time, is killing all this rust. I really don't want this car to rust again, and the reason why I've taken off the suspension is because there is just a tiny bit, not a lot, of corrosion within the suspension turret. So obviously I want to get rid of it. I don't want it back. This car hopefully will last me and maybe generations to come. And obviously, as you probably know, it is quite a rare beauty. So that's the sports spring. It's more of a high tension spring, thicker. Uh, Used on the T16S. So if you've got any other 900, this bit isn't compatible. But that's my part number there. 9101932. Used on the 16Ss and the Carlsons. I think probably a harder ride. Obviously, like they call it, the sports suspension. So it's obviously a more of a sports pack that they put on as an upgrade. So trying to keep the camera taking that spring off. Now I've used these, and I really, in fact, if you've got these, throw them in the bin. They are dangerous and shite. They move. There's many types of spring compressors out there that are a lot safer than these. I've had these for years, and always wary whenever I've used them. Always on pins. Not going to use them again. I think there's some on like eBay or Amazon that are a similar setup, but they actually grab the actual spring coil, and also they have a retainer piece. Now there's loads of obviously professional stuff. I'm only an amateur. I'm only doing this for my own good. But seriously, guys, don't use these. They are bleeding dangerous. If you like your face or you like your fingers, get rid. So enough of that safety talk. What I've been doing is the springs are available. You can get those from Saab bits. I think they're about 65 pounds sterling per corner. But tomorrow, all these bits that I'm going to show you, I'm going to put into they've been completely stripped of rust, ground down with a flap disc and emery paper, wire wool, derusted with rust killer. Don't soak these things too much if you're using like evaporust, because it can make the steel brittle, so you don't go over the top. using this type of using evaporust or anything on these type of suspension parts, because like I say, it will make them brittle. But that's the spring. This is the lower cradle, which sits into the upper wishbone. These are available. Saab, it's UK, do them, but at the moment they're out of stock. But mine wasn't. It was surface rusted, but it was serviceable. So like I'm trying to keep all the originality to the car. So I've stripped them right back. Every millimetre, every micron of rust I've removed from all these parts, because I don't want it coming back. That's in the 2K epoxy primer, which hence why I've got it in front of the fire, because I'm just warming it up. I think epoxy primer normally cures in about 2 or 3 hours with about 60 odd degrees, but that'll be cured in the morning, and then I'll put it in what I use, which I used on my church turret clocks, is the HMG enamel paint that they use on. It's a heritage paint. I have shown it you before. It's a heritage enamel, and it's used on steam locomotives, anything that's a period. It's incredibly hard wearing, and I used to use it on my church clock faces, and that combined with 23.5 gold leaf, or 23.5 carat gold leaf, they're going to be up there for 30 odd years. So if it's good enough for that, and it's good enough for steam locomotives like the Flying Scotsman and all the other fantastic Victorian stuff that the UK produced, it's good enough for my Saab. So that's the suspension, the lower suspension cradle, which sits on the spring. That is what I'll give you the part number. It is available. 8919870. Lower suspension support cradle. So yes, you can get that, but it is out of stock. Maybe you can get it from Scandix or the other European or American suppliers. I don't know, but there you go. That's the buffer or upper trumpet. Genuine Saab part. Again, it's in epoxy primer. I'll probably rub it down, and it's metal to here. This is obviously the rubber side of it, and that sits in the top of the spring. Obsolete, as far as I know, totally and utterly obsolete. So it has to be saved on it. Whether I haven't done any welding fabrication on it. That's the part number 9101882, and as far as I know, that covers all your models of the 900, 84 to 93. But don't take my word on any of these part numbers. I'm only doing this because mine's a 16S, and a lot of these part numbers differ, and obviously after the 86 to 87 upgrade, again they differ. Down on here, so that again, that's going to be, I'll do that either hand paint it or spray it in the HMG enamel. That will be safe as houses for years. It was incredibly rusty on the inside, but took me about 3 hours last night grinding away with a Dremel and sandpaper and everything to get all the rust out, but it's not going to come back, not in my lifetime anyway. This is the rubber support. This is the upper support that sits in the top of the spring there before it bolts to the well, it doesn't bolt actually, it's just under compression. So that's, again, I think that's an obsolete part. I may be wrong. You might be able to get these in Europe, but it's not in bad condition. I've just give it a quick spray over with some satin black, but the actual rubber isn't perished. So that's going to go back on. That'll be quite neat, and that's the part number for that one. 8919862. Rubber spring support, 84 to 86. I think it's compatible again, but it all depends on your suspension. This is the sports pack, exclusive to the T16S and the Carlson, not to a standard 900. So do your own investigation into that bit. I haven't shown this because I mentioned it. This is the lower suspension arm. I bought an attachment off eBay for my Karcher pressure washer. I've got the K7, so I think it's 2,600 psi delivery, and I bought this attachment, which is basically I use it into some sort of media ballast. I used play sand or silica sand or beach sand. I used a bag of that. It's quite cheap. I brought some broken bags actually from Wix UK, which cost me a couple of quid. And it's a brilliant little tool. It's really, really good. I presume they call it aqua blasting. Again, not a millimetre of rust, but it is quite pitted. And yes, I believe these are available. But again, me doing my originality bit, I wanted to save this. So it's come on quite well. It's etch primered. It's only had one coat of black top coat, but I'll do it in the HMG enamels. That'll all be good to go. Moving on slightly, got delivery from Saab bits because I'm building the suspension up. Needed this, but this was only just because of the courier. That's the fuel filter. That's the first filter of many, I presume, on Saabs. The canister fits under the driver's side or offside rear quarter. It's at the side of the tank. It's obviously I don't need this yet because I'm not even starting the car. So I sort the clutch out, but I thought because it was the same carriage, get all the sort of heavy bits that are needed. Got a few bushes. 2 bushes for the lower wishbone arm, which sit in here. So those are the 2 bushes for that. That's the bush. Sorry, there you go. 2 bushes for the lower wishbone arm there. That's the lower bush for the shock absorber. Thought I'd get one of those because mine looks a bit perished. Top one looks okay, but lower one looks a bit iffy. That's the anti-sway bar bush. That also on mine seems to have a bit of play on it. So I'm going to replace that. Two or 3 quid, £3-4, whatever. Not obviously available. And when I get round to rebuilding my brake hub, that's the stainless steel M10 threaded bleed nipple. Again, stainless steel. Obviously, these things rot out, but M10 for the T16S and the Carlson. Obviously, look, mine's the Girling brakes and the handbrake works on the front wheel. So, obviously, you use your own investigation work on what's right for you. But I thought, yes, go for stainless steel, get that done. So that'll be most of the bushings. The upper and lower, what do they call it? Ball joints, they're fine. So, and again, something that I can probably replace, or I will replace with like consumables like the brake discs, the brake pads, everything else. I need to get the brake up, which I'll show you in the next video, or hopefully once it's all. I've half restored it, most of it, and got the seal kits in, the piston seal kits. But I've got to get the hub pulled and the bearing released because I'm going to put a new bearing in it. I think there's a little tiny bit of slight play in there, but while I'm doing that corner of the car, I may as well nip it in the bud. That's the. This is from Saab bits. TRN 201. That's the inner drive shaft. Inner drive shaft. What do they call it? Inner drive shaft. Go on. I'm sure you know to put it in the comments. Going to tell you. Boot. Yeah, inner drive shaft boot. Now again, different on the T16S and different on the Carlson. That is the correct one for the 16 valve, which is my car. The other one's slightly different. So I've got that. Got the outer boot. I believe that's the Saab bits TRN 104. I believe the outer one is all the same on all the 900s. Don't take my word for that, but I do believe that they are the same. So that's going to go on, and I've only got these bits. Because they're not consumables, and I don't really want to. Once I've torqued everything up, and the suspension wise, I don't really want to be taking them off. And these are only about the £7, $9, $10. Once it's done, they're going to last years and years. So I thought I'd get all these little bits and get that put away. So in the next video, I'll show you. I've done the driver's side drive shaft tunnel. I've done all the work on those. I didn't actually use the one of the panels. I was able, because it wasn't that rotten, even though the internal bit was rotten. I didn't use all the panels, so I ended up selling the panel to a chap that appreciated it, and we did it online via I think it was Saab UK Facebook group. Great group, loads of great guys on there. So that went quite quickly. He's quite chuffed. I'm quite chuffed. I didn't need it. No point in keeping hold of it. So I got rid of that. That is the one of the panels that I showed you in one of my early videos that I knew I wouldn't need. I only needed a small section, so I've cut that. That is surplus to requirements. If anybody needs anything like this, just give me a shout. I will try and put my email address. I have put it on some. It's if you want to swap that for a tin of primer, that's fine by me. So yes, all that bit's done. Unfortunately, like I say, I'm in the house because it's cold and the weather's changing. I think we're looking up. So hopefully a lot more is going to be done. Cross member wise, I'll show you in the next video. I'm on with that. I'm just trying to bring all these dating points back in line, and I'm doing. It's considering there was nothing there. And I've only gone off pictures. Everything is lining up pretty much perfect. So and it's never going to rust again because I've been in there with every type of rust killer, grinder, die grinder, sand, belt sander, everything. I've done the whole lot. The only last bit is just did a little bit. That's it's the rubber off the front right hand corner of the Aero kit. It's basically a bit of a mud guard, but again, come up absolutely beautiful. All stainless steel fastenings that's going to go in there. Just again, just stop this car from rusting. So this is purely an update. Hopefully I'll do a bit more of a lengthy video outside, because this is, again, hopefully the last time I'm going to be in the house. The dragon doesn't like it, but she's in bed. So there you go. I think we've covered everything. Just trying to help you with, again, some part numbers, but do be careful, because I say I'm giving you my part numbers from the T16S or the Carlson, not necessarily the full range of the Classic 900. And as always, compulsory at this time of night, a Heineken, beautiful. Look after yourself, chaps. I'll update soon. Take care.